All right. You got to know when I bust out the scale on video that we're talking about something incredible. Either super featherweight like we are today, or on the other spectrum, and I bring out like a 2-pound pocket knife. You never know what you're going to get here on my channel. But thank you so much for coming. So today we want to talk about Jason Van Camp over at VC Edge. And he's done it again. So I have owned number 80, this full dress interface for, I don't know, a year-ish, maybe longer. I don't know. I can't keep track. And I've also owned number 79, a standard build, for the same amount of time. I got them both at the same time. And I now have in my possession for a limited time number 163, I believe it is, and I'll look here in a second, of Interface Gen 3. 1.4 ounces. Yes, you are reading that correctly. 1.4 versus 1.6 on the standard build. As if 1.6 wasn't amazing enough, Jason had to outdo himself. I believe he is striving for that 1 ounce or sub 1 ounce full-size knife, because this is a full-size knife. 3.66 inch blade. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the specs on these because I've done several videos about them before, and I'll put a link up here in the corner to my VC Edge playlist. But I do want to thank Jason again for sending me this coin, handing me this coin when I saw him at Custom Knife Show this past year of 2023. Super honored to have this coin. I don't know how many are out there. I don't think he's actually sold them. I can't believe I'm the only person with one. I don't know. But I'm just going to put that off to the side. So Mitch got in on the lotto, or was able to, it wasn't a lotto, it was just a drop. And he was able to buy this Gen 3 version. Mine is a Gen 2 version. And one of the biggest noticeable difference is visually is the lock bar cutout. Now, a lot of people at the very beginning gave Jason a hard time. I saw it all over Facebook and Instagram about the lock bar shape, that like puzzle piece there at the bottom. And it was functional. It ties the lock bar into the carbon fiber. It allows the pocket clip screw to go through the lock bar to also help secure it. And just mechanically, there's a lot of advantages to that puzzle piece, we'll call it. A lot of people didn't like that. So Jason, being the guy he is, mad scientist, got to work and figured out a way to do it with a more traditional straight lock bar. It comes in, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. It is literally only bonded to the carbon fiber. The pocket clip screw does not go through the lock bar. And yes, this is interface number 163. He always puts the numbers on here. That literally means there are 163 of these made. And there's more now. Mitch just happened to get 163. I don't know what he's up to. It's not a lot more than that. It's probably under 200 made as of right now, today at the time of filming. So this lock bar is just bonded to the edge of the carbon fiber. But the bonding agent and material that he uses, I would have no worries about it. Because as we know, and if this is your first time seeing, maybe you don't know, if this is your first time seeing a VC Edge interface, please go check out one of my other videos in the playlist because it will give a lot more details. But basically, the steel that you see is about double in size. It's a little bit taller that goes into the carbon fiber here. So it's really 3 pieces. It's like a sandwich. You have your bread, and the steel is the bologna. And it's sandwiched between. There are some holes through the bologna here so that the 2 pieces of carbon fiber can sort of snap together. And it gives some area for the glue, and I'm using the glue term loosely, for whatever bonding agent, epoxy that he's using. That's some of the secret sauce. What you will find also is that there is no edge. There's no ledge between the carbon fiber going down to the steel. It is very smooth. It's amazing. This is a knife very, very much like the Hellraiser that until you have it in your hand, you think is just a bit goofy and out there, right? I have loaned this specific knife to many a person who has gone and then bought their own Hellraiser. Same with the VC Edge. I have loaned this one out to a lot of people and they all want one. I have also loaned this guy out to 2 people and they also both want one. Same person. Okay, so that's how that is bonded together. And they use the same type of thing to bond the lock bar to the scale. All right, so how does it get so light and what are the differences between the Gen 2 and the Gen 3? The lock bar. The milling pattern on the pivot is slightly different. You can see there's some lines inside of the tri-way there, and there's not here, and the tri thing is shaped slightly different. Okay, minor details, but they are there. Blade steel, he jumped up to CPM 20 CV versus the M390 of before. Zoom out a little bit so you can see them. What else? I'm looking at my notes here. Internally, what you don't see is the bearing pockets have been milled out differently. He designed a tool to make sure the bearing pocket on both sides is perfectly parallel, perfectly flat. So it gives a much more consistent action throughout the range of the knife. And I can tell as I'm just closing it like that, I can feel a difference. Partially because it's a brand new. Mine needs to go back to Jason because it made a little tour. It went around to a couple different YouTubers. And so it's, I told people to use it, carry it, whatever. So this one does need a little tuning. I'm going to send this back to Jason. I may send this one also just to get a quick sharpening and a quick, since I'm shipping down, I might as well just ship them both, have him go through them both and send them back. Okay. The other thing that I'm probably not going to be able to show you is the milling on the inside. So if you take a look here at the carbon fiber side, the side by my index finger, you can see where that milling stops towards the back and where it goes towards the front. Keep that mental picture. On the new ones, the Gen 3, the pocket is way farther back. It may be hard to tell on camera, and it's way farther forward. He also said that they're thinner in certain areas. Same thing on the lock bar side. It is milled out. The carbon fiber is milled out back in here. And it is milled out farther and deeper than it is on the Gen 2. That one's really hard to show. I'd really need to take these apart and show you the insides, which quite frankly, I'm just not going to do, because there is a very specific way of taking these apart and putting them together. Jason sent me a really detailed list with inch-pounds of torque for the body screws and the pivots and all these things. And quite frankly, I was like, okay, I'm not taking it apart, because not that it's too complicated, but I am more of the, hey, let's just let the maker make it and I will just enjoy it and not try to make it better, because he's an engineer, has a degree, and has been doing this type of work his whole life. What do I know? This is not my field of expertise. I am a subject matter expert, if you will, in my day job. I'll focus on that. These are just so freaking cool. Mitch, thank you for loaning this in. I think the Gen 3 is fantastic. One thing is, on the opening, it has a little bit less of a sound. And I don't know if I'll be able to demonstrate that, but I'm going to put my hand here to block it from opening all the way. Hear that little click when the detent breaks, if you will? It's a little more pronounced on the earlier versions. Which gives you that click, 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 clack, much like a Shirogorov. On the Gen 3, it's less pronounced. It's hard to tell, but I can notice the difference. Jason is working on that for Gen 4, I guess, because that's part of his signature style, is that click clack, much like a Shirogorov. This is a Shirogorov RJ Martin collab that has that click clack. So Jason is working to bring that back more prominently in the Gen 4, I guess we'll call it. I think these are super cool. I have carried this one a lot. I carried this all around Moab when I was there 2 years ago. So I guess I've had it longer than a year, because I took it last April. I think it was pretty new at that point. So yeah, I think they're super cool. I would actually like to get a third one, because I would like this basket weave type pattern carbon fiber rather than the styles that I have now. Although I'm not complaining about what I have now. So anyway, I know I've rambled quite a bit on this one. If you have stayed with me this long, please comment carbon fiber or CF down in the comments. Tells me that you made it all the way. Check out Jason's, my playlist of other Jason Van Camp knives. He also did a fixed blade prototype and some other stuff. And he is working on new stuff, but he didn't want to spill the beans and spoil it, so he wouldn't tell me. So check those out. I'll put a link to his website and stuff down below as well. And he is just such a super great guy to hang out with and easy to talk to. He does respond to emails and texts and things like that. So yeah, just super cool. Jason, thanks for doing what you do. Please keep me posted on those other items that I emailed you about. And Mitch, I'll get this back in the mail to you right away. Thank you so much for loaning it in.